Look guys, we all know ADV bikes are a little bit nerdy, but honestly, they're also kind of fast. Many of you know me as the epitome of a street sport bike squid. Although I do race on track and I have several dirt bikes and a scrambler, the perception of me as the full tuck yeet machine has really stuck online for whatever reason. So today I thought it would be fun to take a look at the adventure motorcycle from a pure spec sheet perspective. Are these motorcycles fast? Are they slow? Should they be in your consideration if you still have that need for speed? Or should you just get a sport touring motorcycle? Well, today we're going to be finding out. And also, today's video is proudly supported by Flying Eyes. I'll tell you more about them later in the show. But let's start talking about this Triumph Tiger 1200. All right guys, this Triumph Tiger Rally Pro 1200 over here next to me is actually provided to us by Eurocycle. They're our preferred dealership. Hit that link down below and check them out. They deliver straight to your door, and they sent this thing over as a loaner bike, and I'm actually really excited about it. I haven't gotten the chance to take this thing out on a big long ride yet. I've actually have plans to do like a big 500-mile weekend day trip with this thing. It's gonna be a lot of fun, but I haven't gotten the chance yet. But I thought it'd be fun to look at this motorcycle's specs and kind of establish a baseline for a flagship ADV. So this Rally 1200 Pro, Tiger 1200 Rally Pro, you can put the words in any order you want, it'll work anyways. 1160cc, 3 cylinders, 148 horsepower at 9,000 RPM, 96 foot-pounds of torque at 7,000 RPM, and 549 pounds ready to ride. It'll do 0 to 60 in a little under 3.5 seconds and a quarter-mile time in under 12 seconds, which is honestly shocking. These bikes are kind of like if you've ever been in a Ram TRX or a Ford Raptor or something like that. They're tall, they're upright, they make a ton of torque, and your mind can't really wrap your head around the fact that they are so fast. And in fact, let me jump on this motorcycle, let me get a GoPro on, and we'll get a quick couple of pulls on this thing.
Today's video is proudly supported by the good folks over at Flying Eyes. If you're an ADV dad and you want the best in eyewear to keep yourself shielded from the sun, this is the pair to get. Flying Eyes were originally created for pilots to wear with their headsets so they would be comfortable, but they found that it works great for motorcyclists and our helmets. They're made with an aerospace grade polymer called Braziliamide that is ultra strong and practically unbreakable. You can bend these any which way and they simply won't give out. Right now you can head over to shop.yemeni.co and pick up a pair of these glasses. I promise you haven't worn anything quite like them. Again, head over to shop.yemeni.co in the link in the description and make sure you've got your all-day riding companion sorted with your Flying Eyes glasses. Thanks again to them for the support. Now back to our video.
Don't want to go too ham here. This is like a neighborhood, so just wanted to do a little one. But yeah, man, they'll do them. And I know, like, again, you can look on the specs and be like, yeah, it's got an 1160cc triple that makes 150 horsepower. Of course, it's going to be fast. But again, I really think a lot of people that don't know a lot about motorcycles would look at this and would not assume that it is as fast as it is. Most bikes are pretty damn fast, and this is no exception. You're gonna need a serious performance vehicle to keep up with this thing off a stoplight and all the way up to a quarter mile. This will obliterate most cars on the road, guys. Most high performance cars, this will basically obliterate, especially from a dig where you can get this thing to do 0 to 60 in under 3.5 seconds, basically. I'll have my editor flash on screen the time, but yeah, these bikes are plenty fast. Not even in sport mode, I'm in off-road mode because I wanted the wheelies. We'll do another one. The thing about ADVs is they're just so comfortable. Oh my goodness, they're so comfortable to ride. They're definitely the SUVs of motorcycling. So as you can tell, it's actually got a pretty good amount of juice. And I know what you're thinking, yeah, it's got 1160 cc's. Of course, it's gonna be pretty fast, but honestly, you'd still be pretty shocked at how fast a regular adventure bike is. I've got a bunch of specs here. I could not keep them all in my brain, so let's run through them. A Tenere 700 makes about 75 horsepower, 50 foot-pounds of torque, and weighs about 452 pounds. It's not going to be faster than your 600, I will admit, but it's definitely a lot more fun. 0 to 60 is in around the 4.5-second range, and I'd estimate the quarter mile probably happens in about 13.3 seconds if I were to guess. I couldn't actually find proper figures on that, and that's going to put it kind of in the ballpark of a medium performance car, something like a 370Z or something like that, which is pretty impressive for a bike that looks like a big dirt bike. A KTM Super Adventure. That's a big dad bike, isn't it? 160 horsepower, 103 foot-pounds of torque, and 530 pounds. So this is kind of cheating. This bike's a little bit like a Super Duke and dad jeans. It's that sort of vibe. But I did find some figures for it. 0 to 60 on that bike happens in 3.3 seconds, and the quarter mile is in around 11 seconds flat. So that truly is a super adventure bike. And now, I did want to make a small caveat. These motorcycles are ostensibly meant to be on/off-road machines, and you might be saying, Yami, anything over like 40 horsepower off-road is just wheel spin anyway, so what's the point of having 160 horsepower off-road? But again, these motorcycles are so laden with technology, you can usually tailor down the power on these things to allow yourself some more fun off-road, and then when you do get on-road, which is where most of them spend their time, you can actually still get it and romp on the power. Coolest thing about ADVs too is that they're very comfortable, right? These bikes are fast, but you're also going to be in a nice upright position. So for those of us with bad backs, and maybe you're just kind of tired of the super crunched over position of a sport bike, an ADV makes a lot of sense, and honestly, you're not really giving up that much performance. So let's talk about the venerable BMW GS 1250. That thing's making 136 horsepower and 105 foot-pounds of torque, weighing in at 591 pounds. But BMW always underplays the GS's performance. This bike actually really hauls the mail. 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds and 12.2 seconds in the quarter mile. For that thing, if you saw it in a parking lot, you would never guess it can do 0 to 60 in mid 3 seconds. That's supercar territory in a bike that looks like a dumb dad bike. How about Harley-Davidson's Pan America? Well, that thing's making 150 horsepower, 94 foot-pounds of torque, and weighs 559 pounds ready to ride. 0 to 60 happens in 3.6 seconds, and it clears the quarter mile in 12 seconds flat. So yeah, your Harley is actually pretty quick if you've got a Pan America. It's not fast if you got a Dyna or something like that. But the name of the game for these motorcycles is torque off the line. With these big engines and the way they're tuned, they don't rev out that high. This thing actually redlines a little under 10,000 RPM. And so stoplight to stoplight, the humble ADV bike is actually pretty good. However, if you're racing somebody on the highway going 130, 140, 150 miles per hour, I don't recommend it, but I know a lot of you guys do that sort of thing. The ADV bike will struggle. This is not exactly a very aerodynamic shape, and it doesn't make a lot of top-end horsepower, so it's going to struggle. The gearing's not very long on these things either, so I think that you're racing these motorcycles, you're going to be a stoplight to stoplight warrior, maybe a 40 to 80 warrior, that sort of thing. These motorcycles are definitely not intended to be big, you know, H2 sort of motorcycles that just crush 150, 160 miles per hour, that sort of thing. These bikes are definitely designed for that low-end punch and to bop around town and just randomly be super fast. Also, adventure bikes really love to wheelie. That's a big feature about these with their tall suspension and their upright seating position. It's super easy to just crank on the power and just float a little wheelie on them. It's a ton of fun to ride if you've never ridden one before. And I have to say, if you're new to this world of adventure bikes, give them a try. These bikes are actually a ton of fun, and I know plenty of guys who have a diversified stable of sport bikes, dirt bikes, adventure bikes, just a little bit of a flavor of the week, so to speak. And I think that they definitely deserve your consideration. Are these motorcycles maybe trying to be a bit too much all at once? Yeah, a little bit, you know. It's a super heavy motorcycle to ride off-road. It's not really that well designed for sport bike or track day riding. But as a jack-of-all-trades machine, the ADV bike's pretty sweet. And honestly, they are fast. It's hard to say that an adventure bike in today's marketplace, in this modern world, isn't fast. You know, this motorcycle can do a sub 4 second 0 to 60 time. That used to be Halo performance car numbers, and you just get them now in a flagship ADV because you're like, well, screw it. We have to give every motorcycle 160 plus horsepower apparently so that you people are satisfied. You sweet little squids, you want all the power you can get. Let me know down below what you guys think of adventure motorcycles. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive on the spec sheet warriorness of ADV motorcycles. It's been a lot of fun for me looking up these numbers, taking this bike out for a spin. Big thanks to Eurocycle for loaning this motorcycle. We're going to be doing a big ride and review on this Triumph Tiger Rally Pro 1200 Rally Pro. You guys know what this bike is, don't worry about it. And also big shout out to Flying Eyes for supporting this episode, and they're also going to be supporting us whenever we go out and do our big road trip with this Triumph Tiger 1200. You guys let me know where you'd like me to see this thing being ridden. I might chuck it off-road a little bit if I've got a buddy with me, because tell you what, I am not keen on picking this thing up by myself on the side of the trail. Catch you guys in the next one. See you later.